Hello, Ragers, and welcome back to another episode of Rage It. Today we're going to be taking a look at petty revenge. Also, make sure you smash those like and subscribe buttons and check out the channel for the rest of our content. Let's get into it. This happened a couple hours ago. I was in a hurry to get to the bank and cancel my account, since I'm poor as dirt and debt was starting to pile up. I was kinda late, so I parked in a bad spot. Bald guy in a Toyota arrives while I'm parking and starts berating me to move my car or he will get it towed, all the while screaming and pointing at a relatively far away, legit parking spot. Now, I'm really in a hurry because my debt increases for each and every day my account is still open, and it's the first time in months I can afford to pay for it. But I can't afford to get my crappy car towed, so I oblige and move my car. When I'm walking all the way back to the bank, I realize this dumbass just parked in the place I was before. So I call the towing service and go inside the bank. When I get out, 25 minutes later, dumbass was there. His Toyota was not. I wave my hand at him and walk towards my parking spot. Inexplicably mad bald guy, if you're reading this, suck it up, my dude. This is a perfect example of just how crappy some people can be. You're going to yell at someone not to park in a spot and then take that very same spot. I love the instant revenge that this guy gets on him. So, my brother and I used to prank each other back and forth regularly a few years ago when I still lived at home. One day, I'm sitting in my room hanging out with some friends when he walks in and says, "Look what I found under my brother's bed." He then proceeds to lift my mattress and reveal a dildo he had left there earlier that day. Everyone gets a good laugh at my expense, and my brother makes a fatal error. He leaves said dildo in my possession. Fast forward a month and a half. My brother is on his way to see a friend on the other side of Canada. I slip the dildo I've been holding on to in his carry-on right before he leaves the house. It was a gel dildo, so I also inserted a long steel rod inside in hopes it would set off the alarm at the security and get him searched. A couple hours later, my phone rings. It's my brother. He's calling, still embarrassed to let me know I had won our war, and security had made him pull out the dildo in front of everyone. The best part was he was hitting it off with this cute girl in line behind him who was taking the same flight. However, the conversation ended quite abruptly. Edit. To answer the question about the steel rod just happening to be handy, this wasn't done last second. I'd inserted the rod about a week prior, knowing his trip was coming up with this plan in mind. Very easy to pull off. Using a thin drill bit, slightly smaller than the rod itself, about the thickness of a nail, drill up the center of the backside, insert the rod, ready to go. This is hilarious. I love getting in prank wars with friends and family. I don't think we've ever taken anything quite this far, but it would be hilarious. Sometimes it's good to set up a little bit of ground rules beforehand so you don't get the public humiliation that he gave to his brother, but I think he did a great job with it. Well, this isn't mine, but it's a guy I know, and I'll just tell his story here. So, I was in line at a fast food restaurant when a mother behind me said to her whining child, "You can only eat one piece of chicken, no more than that, or else you'll be fat like this guy, me, in front of you." Then it was my turn in line, and I asked the clerk if all the chicken on display is all they had left. They said yes, and the other batch is still cooking. I said to the clerk that I would buy all of it, paid, and walk away slowly. When the mother comes up, the clerk explained that they're out of chicken and she needs to wait 30 minutes. Her kid keeps whining. She was angry and upset. She then looked at me, frowning. I just flipped her the bird and turned to go home. Now, I'm 240 kroner poorer and have 15 pieces of chicken, but seeing the look of her face and her child is priceless. What a terrible mother who just blatantly insults people out in public like that. I guess she was never taught by her mom, if you don't have anything nice to say, don't say anything at all. But I love the way that this guy handles it. You know, maybe he's going to put on a few extra pounds now because he's got to eat those 15 pieces of chicken, but they're going to taste so much better now, knowing that he did it just to get even with this lady. A few weeks ago, I was driving down a 2-lane dual carriageway that's national speed limit. I'm doing a typical fast lane speed, but with at least 20 cars ahead of me, all driving as close as you can to each other. Both lanes are full of traffic, but we're still going above the speed limit consistently. A few miles down the road, I get an Audi behind me, unhappy at the speed I'm doing. Not like I could go faster. He starts tailgating me and flashing his lights. There is no space to my left to pull over, and even if I did, he'd still have to deal with everyone else ahead of me. He is so close, I can clearly see his face, but not his headlights. Even stopped at lights, I'd just be able to make them out in my mirror. After about another mile, he stops flashing me, and I notice that rather than looking ahead, he's spending a hell of a lot of time looking down at his crotch. He's still as close to me as ever, and traffic has remained the same. By this time, I've noticed that the car behind him is leaving him a lot of space, and I get inspired. I drive a Fiat. These cars are known to automatically turn the hazard lights on under significant braking to warn other road users that you've slammed the brakes on. Thanks, Top Gear, and that they might want to do the same. I wait until there's a gap to my left and check my mirror. He's still on his phone. I delicately press my foot to the brake, enough to light my brake lights, but not enough to actually engage them. Then I turn on my hazards. It takes him a few seconds to look up and realize what I've done. His face contorts to utter panic as he slams on his anchors and jerks the steering wheel to the right. The car swerves into the central reservation, narrowly missing the divider, and skids on the debris that's laying there, producing a cloud of dust as he fights for control of his car. By the time he recovers, I've gained a decent distance on him. He managed to keep a respectful distance between us for the rest of our shared journey. I pull off before he has a chance to pass me and play his round of petty brake checking games. Now, while this is funny, and I'm sure almost all of us would enjoy doing this to someone who was tailgating us, I can't really recommend this. Now, while Op didn't actually brake check the person, this is still something that could be considered aggressive driving or hazardous driving because you're doing something specifically to possibly harm or to cause issue with another driver. And while it might be funny, you could potentially have hurt or even killed the other driver, so it's not something that you actually should do. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, make sure you smash those like and subscribe buttons. And if not, let me know why down in the comments section so I can make the next video better. I put out new videos every day, so I'll see you guys tomorrow.